Have you ever wondered what your expat life in Argentina would be like? Are you curious to know how different living in Argentina is than the United States? In this video, we're breaking down the 14 surprising differences that caught us off guard when we moved here. So if you're curious about contrasting lifestyles or want to avoid breaking the local unwritten rules, stick around. You're going to learn about these Argentinian cultural quirks. For those that don't know me, I'm Marcos Eisen, and I'm thrilled to bring our community of 500,000 expats who visit Nomadic Fire's website another fact-filled video guide on our YouTube channel, where we bring you the best tips, tricks, and recommendations on how to live your best life abroad. NomadicFire.com brings you the best updated intelligence on expat life in different cities, countries overseas. With us, you get the unique perspective of having one source to compare, contrast, and capture life in retirement hotspots like Mexico, the Philippines, and Colombia. Welcome back, expats. In today's video, we're highlighting the 14 differences between the United States and Argentina. And whether it's the proper etiquette when greeting someone, or how to buy your weekly groceries, or getting accustomed to the odd eating times here, we're gonna take you through the fun and fascinating aspects of life in Argentina that are gonna surprise you. And for clarification purposes, these are our experiences living in Buenos Aires. However, from chatting with our Porteño friends, these nuances are gonna be applied to most of Argentina. Now, before we get started, do us a quick favor and hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. It really helps us out. All right, let's get started with how you greet people in Argentina. Like most Latin American countries, people are a little bit more touchy-feely here. Argentina is a kissing culture. So saying hello here comes with an abrazo. And if you're like us, this one's gonna throw you off a bit at first. In Argentina, the go-to greeting is a single kiss on the right cheek. It's a friendly and warm gesture, and it's often paired with a hug or a handshake. Now, let me tell you, it took us a while to get used to this. So picture this. I just finished my dental appointment. I was all feeling all fresh and clean, and I went to go shake my periodontist's hand, thinking I was done. But nope, he grabs my hand, pulls me in, and plants a cheek on my kiss. That's right, I got a cheek kiss from my dentist. And I had to wonder, is that the same kind of greeting I'd get from my proctologist? If you find yourself in Argentina, get ready for those cheek kisses. They're gonna feel a little strange at first, but soon enough, it's gonna be part of the Argentinian experience. And here's our first insider tip. Argentinians only go for a single kiss. If you spent any time in Europe and you're kind of used to the double smooch, here it's just one kiss and it's always on the right cheek. And to be clear, you just touch cheeks and make a kissy noise. We're not talking about a full-on lip-to-cheek contact. And if you're kissing another guy, staring it directly in the eye is gonna be important. You have to make eye contact, then kind of turn your head, lean forward, and give the abrazo with a kind of couple of hearty pats on the back. Argentinians here speak Spanish. Shouldn't be a surprise, right? Yet, many expats are surprised that only around 6% of locals here speak English. And I'm not gonna lie, I had loads of difficulty here, even after living in Colombia, Mexico. Argentina is different, and you can find YouTube videos of fluent Spanish speakers, and they can explain the differences. I'm not gonna embarrass myself trying to mansplain their language and absolutely butchering the pronunciation. But I'll give you a few examples to illustrate how Argentinians pronounce the double L, like in the Spanish word for chicken. Even the newest gringo would probably not struggle with understanding when someone says pollo. But in Argentina, that double L sound sounds like a shh. So a server telling you the special of the day at the restaurant is gonna say pollo. And it's not just the pronunciation. Simple things like the words for food are completely different here. Choclo, palata, or frutilla. I mean, these are not the same words you use when you're grocery shopping in Mexico. And then there's numbers. Numbers are the same, but the numbers you're gonna use in daily life here are just much bigger. An example, in Mexico, $1 is roughly 18 pesos. However, in Argentina, $1 is about 1,300 pesos. This means a small $20 purchase at the grocery store, and the nice lady behind the counter is gonna rapid fire, 18,355. I mean, she could look at me and just literally see my gringo brain just crashing. And speaking of grocery shopping, coming from the US, we're used to these giant, massive grocery stores where we can buy basically anything we need in one place. And I'm not gonna lie to you, sometimes I miss having one giant aisle dedicated wall to wall with just different kinds of breakfast cereal. But you gotta say goodbye to those super Walmarts and the Costco's because they're not here in Argentina. Sure, there are gonna be medium-sized supermarkets around, but even in Buenos Aires, it's all about the specialty shops. Locals here have their fish market, their fruit lady, and their favorite baker. These are little small neighborhood businesses. They're specialists who know their stuff, and they have these fresh, non-packaged goods at affordable prices. I've grown to love this routine. Instead of the supermarket shuffle, I got this routine down. Roughly, every 2 to 3 days, I walk to my carniceria for my fresh meats, my fruteria because I have a fruit lady that individually picks out the fruit that's gonna be the freshest and the sweetest that day for me. And then I walk to my panaderia and they have these best, amazing, sweet smelling breads and pastries. It's like going for a treasure hunt for top-notch groceries at better prices. And the best part, they know me. As soon as I walk in, they smile, they wave, they're like, buenos dias, because they know all their neighborhood regulars. Siestas. Siesta time is a real thing here, and many businesses and restaurants close their doors between 1 and 5 p.m. It's all about kind of having this big lunch and then taking a nap. You're gonna find that the city is just much emptier and quieter at this time. This little afternoon break kind of shifts the whole day schedule, which is gonna lead us to our next topic, dinner. Dinner time was a really hard one for us to get used to in Argentina. See, Sandra, my girlfriend, she's Austrian, and her family eats dinner around 5 p.m. Me, I grew up in the US, and my family usually wraps up dinner around 7 or 8 p.m. In Buenos Aires, though, many of the restaurants are gonna be empty ghost towns until about 9 p.m. Porteños like to eat dinner around 10 or 11 p.m. So don't be surprised if that local restaurant you've been trying to try is actually not even open until after 8 p.m. It's pretty much only foreigners who eat anytime before that. When it comes to partying, the US and Argentina are in two metaphorically different time zones. In the US, we're used to heading out around 11 o'clock or so because last call at a bar or a club is usually 2 a.m. And some states even close down everything by midnight. Locals here would actually laugh at the idea of going home at midnight because in Argentina, things just get started at midnight. People have that late dinner, then they go off to a friend's house or a cocktail bar, they do some pre-gaming because the real action doesn't even start until 2 or 3 in the morning. And just when you think it's time to call it a night, the after parties start and they run anywhere between 5 to 7 a.m. Here, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And quite frankly, my 20-year-old mentality just can't deal with the fact that my 50-year-old body just can't keep up anymore. Partying until dawn is one thing, but driving the next day is another story. And although we actually felt safer in Argentina's driving culture, we felt that it was better than other places in Latin America, it's still quite different than driving in the US. Here, there's a more, shall we say, flexible approach to traffic. Traffic signals are not strictly followed, not everyone is driving disciplined, and pedestrians, you have to be extra cautious. Even if you're in a sidewalk and you have the right of way, if a car wants to turn on your street, it's gonna turn. Not even police cars would consistently stop for us at crosswalks. Now that we've talked about getting around, let's talk about getting money. Although you can pay with a credit card, many places in Argentina, cash is still king. You'll often receive about a 15% discount if you pay in cash. But don't bother trying to use an ATM if you need cash. ATMs are probably going to be the most expensive way to get money. Not only do they give you the more expensive formal exchange rate, but you'll also incur fees. And we had a super hard time trying to find an ATM machine that would give us more than the equivalent of $20 US at a time. Instead, we recommend using Western Union to receive pesos. Trust us, this method is much simpler than using an ATM. We've made an entire video on how to use Western Union with all its ups and downs, downsides, and our recommendations for which branches to use because they have the most amount of pesos in stock. So here's a tip. If you sign up for Western Union using our link in the description, we'll also get you a $20 Amazon gift card, plus your first money transfer is fee-free. Again, the link is in the description box below. Buenos Aires truly loves their dogs. Yeah, you'll see folks walking their pups everywhere. And what really surprised us is that most owners let their dogs roam around without a leash. But these dogs are incredibly well behaved. And another unique sight is there's a lot of professional dog walkers. Each of these dog walkers manage like 10 dogs at a time. There's leashes everywhere, left and right. But here's the downside to all that puppy love. Not everyone is responsible and picks up after their dogs. This becomes especially annoying in the fall when all the leaves turn brown, kind of cover the ground and everything blends together. Now, I don't know if I'm stepping on a wet leaf or I'm stepping on dog poop. And if you walk around Buenos Aires long enough, you're eventually gonna guess wrong. Escaping the poop is pretty much impossible. And if that wasn't enough, the sidewalk tiles in Buenos Aires often have a hidden surprise. Many of these tiles are loose and hollow underneath, so when it rains, the rainwater seeps in and collects underneath it. If you step on the wrong one, you're gonna get this gush of fetid water splashing on your pants and shoes. So imagine you're walking down the street on a rainy day, your eyes are glued to the ground trying to distinguish between brown leaves and poop while you're trying to avoid these treacherous loose tiles. It's like navigating a bloody minefield. In the US, what's up isn't really a big deal, but in Argentina, it's practically a way of life. Everyone uses it. I use WhatsApp to exchange money. I order my empanadas through WhatsApp. I even schedule my doctor and dentist appointment using WhatsApp. So if you're planning on living here, you're definitely going to want to download the app. It's just how things get done here. Argentina is all about bidets. Up until just a few years ago, having a bidet was a mandatory requirement in Buenos Aires in the building code. I do not. I'd be shocked if you found an apartment here without a bidet. Ours even had a dual action feature. It sprayed from both the front going to the back and also from the bottom going to the top like a fancy fountain. It's got a switch, so it's basically kind of a choose your own adventure thing. And we didn't know about this dual action cleaning until Sandra's friend came to visit from Austria. And being from Europe, she knows about bidets, she knows they're about butts, but she wanted to wash her feet. And she had this genius idea that, hey, I can wash my feet in the bidet. So she was expecting the water to come from the back, just like it would in a typical European bidet. So she places her foot down, she turns on the water, but the wrong switch was on. Instead of having the splash from the back, she got a surprise from below. So this powerful blast of water came up from the bottom and splashed her face. So instead of getting a foot bath, she got a face wash. People in the US are passionate about American football. Are you ready for some football? But in Argentina, they take their love for their football to a whole nother level. Lionel Messi is a national hero. You're gonna see his face plastered everywhere. It's on posters, it's on paintings, it's on t-shirts, it's on billboards, advertisements, you name it. And during football matches, the entire city comes alive with cheers. I remember it was one of our first months in Argentina. We were just sitting in our apartment one day, chilling, and all of a sudden we heard this loud screams. It was coming from the hallway, it's coming from the neighbors, it was coming down the street. Our windows were open so we could hear it in the background in the distance. At first, we thought something terrible had happened, but then it hit me. There was actually a football match going on. Argentina had just scored and the whole city literally simultaneously celebrated. The last place I lived in the US was the Pacific Northwest. It's like in the Seattle, Portland area. So you know we love our coffee. But in Buenos Aires, finding coffee beans is actually a nuisance. Not even major grocery stores would sometimes have them in stock for weeks. Like weeks. I mean, I can feel the caffeine shakes already. Even if you could find some in stock, coffee here oddly comes pre-mixed with sugar. Yeah, so they would have coffee with sugar already added before you even brewed it. It's something I've only experienced here in Argentina. I really think the difficulty here is because coffee is unloved. It's kind of like a Disney stepchild. Argentina's real passion is yerba mate, or as the locals pronounce it, yerba mate. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, mate is a herbal tea. It's brewed in kind of a small cup and it's sipped through a specialized straw called a bombilla. And that straw filters out the herbs while you sip. Traditionally, the cup itself is made out of a hollowed out pumpkin gourd, but nowadays you can find mate cups made from wood, ceramic, even silicone. Argentina's love for their national drink is on an entirely another level. It's common to see porteños walking around town or taking the metro to work or strolling around a park, and they're holding their special cup in one hand, trying to balance the bombilla into their mouth while cradling a thermos of warm water in their other so they can refill their cup later on. Mate here is not just a drink, it's not even just a caffeine fix, it's a centuries-old cultural tradition. It's a ritual and oftentimes a social activity. Even their electric kettles come with a special mate setting. It's gonna specifically heat the temperature between 170 to 180 degrees. That's about 160 to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the exact temperature they want because it's known to extract the best flavor from the mate without making it too bitter. Argentinians even have specialized mate bags and backpacks, and even at major parks, you're gonna see these free hot water dispensers so that people, while they're walking in the park, can actually refill their mate. It's an entire culture built around this drink, and it's fascinating to see how integral it is to everyday life. When it comes to punctuality, living in Buenos Aires can be a bit of adjustment. It's like most Latin American countries where appointments are just gonna be mere suggestions for the calendar. While the US is not as uptight as Europeans about being on time, at least in the US, if you're in for a 3 p.m. meeting, that usually means around a 2:55 arrival. Here in Buenos Aires, though, we learned to embrace the more relaxed approach when it comes to time. The first time we hosted a dinner party, we were actually panicking because no one was showing up. But then it was almost like clockwork. Around 1 hour or 1.5 hours later, all our friends started to show up. They were all smiles, no apologies. I mean, really, it's part of the charm. We've come to appreciate the laid-back vibe here. It's all about enjoying the moment rather than stressing out about the clock. Just remember, if you got an appointment, bring a book or a yerba mate cup, because you might be sitting around waiting a bit. It's just all a part of that Buenos Aires experience. We hope this gives you a clearer picture of what life is like as an expat in Buenos Aires. Well, admittedly, some of these quirks like the late dinners and the late appointments can get a bit annoying. It's part of embracing the different customs that are not only going to help you adapt, but also enrich your expat experience. So be sure to check out our other videos where we discuss the cheapest ways to get pesos or USD in Argentina. We also talk about apartment prices and the common mistakes when renting an apartment here. And we have videos about exploring the most popular neighborhoods in Buenos Aires. If you found this video useful and helpful, please hit that like button and share it with fellow expats. Also, I'd like to hear about your thoughts and experiences, so drop a comment below. Until next time, ciao from Argentina.